Here are my 6 favorite sample making tricks. Bro, I wish I knew those things when I started. So buckle up, we're in for one. And last trick is a secret stock plugin you needed yesterday. So let's dive right in. Okay, so we're in FL Studio now and we have this basic MIDI pulled up. First trick I want to talk about is just layering. So we have a piano here and then just taking another instance, in that case a pad, copying the same exact pattern over and laying it down. So here's what it sounds like not layered. Sounds pretty fire by itself, but just listen when it's layered, it's just way better. Just gives the piano a whole bigger feeling, even if you don't really hear the individual notes as good as on the piano. Just makes it so much better. So always layer your main melody that you have with at least one other instrument. Trick number 2 is export and flipping. So I've exported the pad here now. Now we have unlimited options as of what we can do. First of all, we could reverse it. Could speed it up as well. It's pretty fire. So we could also chop it up like this. So it follows the same pattern as before, but it's still reversed and sped up. Just make sure you have a smooth on blending or individually pull these sliders so it doesn't click. So what we now can do is route it to a mixer track and add some crazy effects. I'm gonna add some Portal. Then we can always come in here and change the pitch again, so to create something new. So we just flip this. Into this. And that's the power of exporting. So if you feel stuck with your sample, just export it out, cut it up, pitch it down, change the speed, reverse it, don't reverse it, just all those things. Pretty much my favorite trick for overcoming any creative block if I'm having creative block while making samples. Okay, third trick is similar to the first and the second, but not quite, and I call it layering with itself. Take the piano this time, export the piano melody. We still have the original up there. So what I'm gonna do now is flip this, pitch it up, route it to a new mixer track, add some effect if Portal would load. I think it crashed. Let's restart. Okay, so we're not gonna add Portal because it just crashed on me, so let's add something else. Still want to make it more washed out, so let's add some more reverb. Let's export it out again, because the reverse effect doesn't work perfectly. As you can hear, it still doesn't put the reverse on the first bar or half a bar. So we need to come in here, cut it up and take the second part, duplicate it over. So here's what we have now with the technique called layering by itself. Now in this case I pitched the exported sample up 12 semitones, but what you can do is you can also pitch it down, create a lower instance. I wouldn't recommend that necessarily with a piano, but with any other sound you can do that as well. And you can also add like whatever effects you want. You can add portal, you can add shaper box, whatever. I just added some reverse and reverb pretty much. That's it. Trick number 4 is reversing the last bar. I really like this effect of when it just goes, the melody flows, and then the last bar is reversed. So it kind of fades into the start again and it sounds just super hard. So there's pretty much 2 ways you can do that. I mostly use Looperator because I have the plugin. Go to an empty file, go in there, select this one, forward reverse, and select the tie, so it kind of reverses the whole part. Now you can either make it the whole bar long or only half a bar. Both sounds fire, but if you don't have any reverse plugin, of course what you can do is just export the thing, cut out the last bar, right click, make unique, then reverse. Now what you have to check for is probably the last bar isn't the first bar. So you have to come in here, cut out the last bar here. In this piano case it doesn't really matter because the patterns are fairly similar, but we still do it. And then you get something like this. You can either have it for the whole bar or the half bar. This is what it sounds like with the full bar. It's definitely a bit quicker, a bit faster, but both work out pretty fire. Trick number 5 is a trick I haven't seen anywhere else online, but it's really my most used one, especially when it comes to flipping samples or flipping melodies. It's a halftime, but 1.5x mode. So what the 1.5x mode does, it slows it down, but not as much as the 2x. It kind of gives it that unique triplet bounce. Here's a piano melody without halftime. And with. The 1.5x halftime just gives it this nice triplet bounce, which is very unique and very fire. You always have to make sure, even though it's in C sharp minor, the 1.5x halftime always pitches it down. So this one will be in G sharp minor. So if you wanted to have it in C sharp minor, you would have to go up 5 semitones. Now we can layer it again with the pad melody that is not 1.5x and will sound so unique. Now I wouldn't play around with the smooth knob too much, because when you change the smooth knob to effects, the old initial melody starts fading in again, and then it kind of sounds off because it's not a whole octave down and only 5 semitones. Or you can also play with the loop in time, but I mostly keep it on 1 bar. So the last trick, as promised, is a secret stock plugin. Plugin I'm talking about is Fruity Patcher. Looks super weird now, but essentially what Patcher does is you can line up different effect chains. What I like to do is go in there to presets and select a 2-band splitter. What it does is when we open the frequency splitter, you can adjust the frequencies. So all the frequencies beneath 500 are in the red, and all these frequencies above 500 are in green. So what does that mean? We have the low frequencies beneath 500 and the high frequencies over 500 hertz. We can now add effects only to the high frequencies, or add effects only to the low frequencies. And we can come in here and adjust what is what, so what is high and what is low. The way you do it is you cut the connections, you right click here, insert plugin, and then you can choose any one of your favorite plugins. So what I want to try is, let's add initial reverse. Then you have to connect it again to the FL Studio output if you're done. You can always double click here and open up the plugin itself. So I just built out this simple patcher preset where we split the highs and the lows, simple stat, then the lows go into a portal with a Birds preset from my Vision Portal Bank, and the highs go into Effect Track with a crystallizer on there. And this is what it sounds like after editing. but you could pretty much add as many plugins in there as you want. And that's really the key of Patcher. You can create so many unique variations inside of Patcher. You can play with the presets, and it's one thing I've discovered recently and that I'm continuously using more and more and more, because it's just super unique and fire. If you want to see my unique process of how I flip samples and how I come up with new stuff and how I apply all these tricks in action, check this video out, bro.